let's talk about this Robotaxi thing. A lot of rumors going around that, the Cybercab could also be the affordable car, as we see some pictures going around where the Cybercab has a steering wheel on in I think it was in Giga Texas where they were testing it out, which was I'm like, whoa. I mean, if if they have a Cybercab with a steering wheel, I'm a buyer. Simple as that. But I'm
Exactly,
not
Pejjy. So I'm torn because in my mind, there are some very hard arguments against it, but then there are overwhelming arguments for it. Right? So let's start with the arguments against it. Franz von Holzhausen has said this thing will never have a steering wheel. So that was a little weird to say that because they would have already planned that. So that seems a little disconnect. Then it's a two-seater. I don't know if it's smart. Would it be smart to launch a two-seater? Like, doesn't everyone want 4 seats in an affordable car?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yes.
And then some dimensions of this thing is just, that's the question. Is that really an affordable car for the masses if it's very limited functionality in terms of seats? Okay, so that's the cons. And I mean, Franz knows everything. He would know in October last year that they were preparing this, but who knows? Who knows? That's the cons. On the pro side, that is what confuses me. On the pro side, I don't even see a future scenario where this is not the case, because it makes like no sense. If you prepare mass production of Robotaxi, what happens if there's anything going wrong in demand, anything going wrong on FSD rollout, right? So if you plan 2026 scaling, what if there's any kind of delay? Like for stockholders, it's one thing, but if you operate freaking Tesla and you're preparing massive supply chains and everything, you cannot hinge your entire production strategy on a completely unproven new technology to actually scale in time, in my opinion. So making this also the affordable car would be the ultimate solution of all problems. Like imagine that would be the same platform. You could just go all out because you're going to sell millions one way or the other. You could just converge these two scaling problems into a singular platform. Model Q and Robotaxi. If both work, great. You scale as hard as you can. But if Robotaxi has any kind of problem, you just sell them as Model Qs. So I think it would allow them to go much harder into large-scale manufacturing as fast as they can. Because think about it, are you really gonna? I mean, it just would put Tesla at enormous real risk, not stock risk, but real cash flow risk. If you prepare millions of Robotaxis to be built and build out these supply chains and commitments and everything, and then something happens and you can't deploy them, that puts the entire balance sheet at risk. This is like a huge risk.
Yeah.
And so I think the incentive of Tesla to mitigate this by saying, like, if anything goes wrong with Robotaxi, we just sell them as Model Qs, is such an enormous de-risking that I don't see how this is not the case. And maybe there's like a blended world where it's like not the exact same thing, but it's super easy to switch between. Like within a month, you could like repurpose the manufacturing line or something. It's basically, it shares everything, but has something slightly different, has a steering wheel, maybe. I don't know what you can do. Maybe it's slightly bigger, or it has passenger in the back. So I think there's no way in hell that Robotaxi is not also the affordable model. That's why it's probably also getting a little delayed, if that's the case. But if that would be the case, I think it's ridiculously bullish, because that's not what Wall Street expected. They thought it's like a compromised little half Model 3, not a really new platform. If it's a really new platform, you get enormous advantages cost-wise. And if they want to build Robotaxis this year, so I think in a perfect scenario, Model Q is delayed a little bit, 6 months, but it is the Robotaxi. I think that would be ridiculously bullish. Because think about it. Like, think about all the costs and the effort and the madness that goes into large-scale car manufacturing of a new model. And they have these two big fat models that will be bigger, each of them, than everything they have. The Model Q and the Robotaxi. To merge them into one, there is no way around it, in my opinion. On a financial risk, manufacturing, supply chain level, it just makes zero sense. And one doesn't mean it's exactly the same. That's obvious, but it's like 90% shared or something.
I could see that being a scenario, but there was one interview with Franz, I think it was a month ago. he's saying that the Cybercab and other vehicle and other lineups coming. I'm just like, okay, so he was very clear saying that Cybercab is one thing and then the lineup is the other thing. But I
But
can
I think that's
see,
not a contradiction of that could still be 90% shared. I think that's like a manufacturing strategy.
yeah, no, I can easily see them if Cybercab doesn't work for some reason. I can see them like flipping it to like a car with a steering wheel and stuff like that. I mean, they're already doing it anyways. Is seeing those pictures and stuff like that. But that's interesting. I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do. I'm very excited to see what the affordable models are.
I mean, the
going to
key
be.
for me is like the talking points would be, and maybe that's in the next earnings call. So the next earnings call, I find very interesting. Like normally with earnings, I'm like staying out of it, not placing any bets because you never know. In this earnings call, I think we have alpha over Wall Street because this earnings call is very different in April because they will talk about Robotaxi launch. They will talk about Model Q. They will talk about all these things that we can anticipate, but Wall Street cannot. So that's rare. And I think because it's so new and disruptive, everything is changing now. And I think we are much better in predicting this than Wall Street. So this gives us potentially alpha in earnings. And if you have alpha in earnings, then you print a lot of money. So I think if they come out, confirm Robotaxi launch timeline, that's hugely bullish. If they come out and announce that the Model Q and Robotaxi have a shared platform, that because they never said that, that's the key I want to hear. Is it the same platform? It's not the same car, but is it the same platform? Is it like the, I'm not even an engineer, the whole, the drivetrain, all the under the, even the chassis to some extent, is it the same specs on the drivetrain?
That would, if they say that, that would be, I mean, that'd be completely different from what they said before. Because in Q4 earnings, they said the Cybercab is the unboxed model or the
exactly. That's what I'm saying, Pejjy. This would be
and then
huge. Because, of course, the Cybercab is next generation. It's unboxed. Everything is high-tech, super cost-effective. I think they need to pull forward Cybercab. And they did. I think it's coming faster than expected, the manufacturing. And they can push back the Model Q and let it converge. So the bad news is Model Q is 6 months delayed or 9 months. But that bad news would be completely offset if that's instead of the compromise, the non-compromise, fully unboxed and fully sharing with Cybercab. And I think the timing works out. Look, we are already in Q3 nearly. If they announce in Q4 scaled production of Model Q and Robotaxi on the shared platform, who cares about 6 months delay if you get a shared platform with ridiculous economics? And then you're de-risks, right? And then you're literally selling people Cybercabs. Like you're literally selling them cars. I mean, you said it, you would buy. You sell them cars where you just take out the steering wheel and really have a Robotaxi. It's ridiculous. This is huge.
Yep.
I do not believe there's a way around it, in my opinion.
We'll find out, but that's what I'm saying. I'm predicting that you can order the Cybercab sometime this year, end of this year, is what I'm thinking.
But it's also much more elegant, right? Because I don't think it's that smart to sell people Cybercabs. It's like stupid. Because what you want to sell to people are cars that they can drive. But if you could sell them a car that can drive that is a Cybercab, then it's game over.
Oh man. So this is what I mean.
And it's like also like, it's the ultimate de-risking. It solves all problems. What if Cybercab is delayed? You cannot go into mass manufacturing with the risk that there's no demand. You're absolutely dead as a car company if that happens. But demand for Cybercabs is pending on some crazy innovation curve that we believe in, but you cannot bet the balance sheet on it. You cannot. So if you do this, you're fully de-risked. The risk is gone. And all kinds of crazy synergies. You make way more money. Everyone buys your Robotaxis now because they can just drive them around themselves and at any point actually send them to work. I mean, I think it's just enormously powerful. So if I wanted to do a deeper video and also talk with Jeff Lutz about it. And I will do this. So you got the first scoop here because I'm still thinking about it, but it's obvious. There is no way around it. But if that's the case, when that comes out, the stock probably drops because Wall Street is dumb. It's like, oh my God, Model Q delayed. But within a week, they would understand. Dan Ives would come out, Adam Jonas, they all would come as like, bros, think about it. This is insane. And then, so I think there's a drop and then it goes through the roof. if that's the news.
With that usual with Tesla. Nothing new on that. Which
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
mind.
timing's important. I think it's like a DeepSeek timing. That news would drop the stock, but within 48 hours, it would bounce back because people are stupid, but they're not that stupid. And Wall Street analysts, the best ones, they would get it very quickly. They would come out like, no, listen, this is not bearish. This is insanely bullish. Who cares about 6 months delay? They basically skipped the entire intermittent step and now have a joint platform that is fully unboxed. Mega efficient,
Yeah.
$15,000 cost basis or whatever.
That's going to be
And
crazy.
they now unified the scale problem. Now they just have crazy scale.
Yeah. That's the crazy part. That's the insane part. Sheesh.
I'm not totally done with the prediction yet, but I mean, I'm 95% there. Like, how is this not going to happen? Like, it has to happen. But that's very big news. This is big news.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I think we'll get a taste of it literally months coming. I can't wait. Very excited.
I mean, they have to basically explain it in the earnings call, in my opinion. Well, like maybe they could.
Well,
but
I think in the earnings call, until it's not actually revealed, they're gonna go like, yeah, it's on track, it's coming. FSC unsupervised still happening in June. All this stuff until it actually happens. Maybe we'll get some gravy. We'll
I mean,
see.
If that is so, we can already reason from timelines and first principles. So if this is the case, they cannot announce the Model Q yet because the earliest this can go into production is probably end of the year. So then they have to announce it late Q3, the launch. But they can mention on the earnings call that they're converging the platforms.
Let's see what happens. Very exciting. Very exciting.
But this is very good.